sometimes if you hire a company that also does dredging, they will tell you have a huge amount of muck. And muck is very complex science. Muck is made of different layers, and all of these different layers don't have the same impact on your lake. So if you just do a core, which is basically taking a cylinder down to the bedrock, they're going to tell you, oh, you have 3 feet of muck. I don't call this muck. The muck is really the black organic portion. So if you do hire somebody, make sure they show you a picture showing you that you do have a black layer about 3 feet. Right? So I'm not going to name the lake, but I've got a lake where they put tons of aerators. They spend actually $250,000 on aeration. And then they hire me to look at, after a year, what happened. And say, yeah, no muck. It says, that's the aeration. I said, no, it's impossible, not in 1 year. They just didn't need any to start with, but they were told they had 3 feet of muck. I said, no, you only have inches, not feet. So that's the first thing we do, and we do also water quality. To look at the amount of nutrients you have. And the way we do it not from the shore like most companies do, when they just go to the shoreline and just take a water sample. That's not representative. We actually do a bathymetry, so we do a mapping of the lake. We select the right place where we want to take our water sample. We also do profiles, so we do temperature, conductivity, oxygen, pH, so on and so forth. And then we select where we take our water sample, we composite it, and we do it 3 times in the year. End of the dry season when the lake is possibly at its worst because the water has concentrated and it's hot. And then we do it after the flush, if you have a flush up here. And then we do it at the end of the rainy season when it's potentially its best, because the water has been flushed several times. So this year, we didn't have, we had a flush all year round, right? So the water quality, when I do it, probably going to be good for nearly all the pond I serve. Because it got a flush.
So is that something you're going to be doing?
No, I don't know. This is something we talked about, and I gave Jack an example of a proposal I gave to Carlton Lakes as an example to see that what I've done and what it costs, so that you guys, if you want to do this, we can talk when you guys are back in season next year, we can talk about it.
Do you do a vegetation analysis also?
I can do that as well. We have the resources to do a vegetation community. We can do bacterial community. It all depends what are your goals and what the budget is, because that's something that you want to take all of you guys in concert. And then we always negotiate and see what the best. Knowing that our goal here is, your goal is to know how healthy they are. Our goal is to collect data good enough so they can be published. So we do have sometimes I don't budge because I say I won't be able to use this data to publish, so it's not worth my time. In general, we always find a compromise. Yes, sir.
Hey, Doc. You briefly touched base on best management practices. Lee County, Collier County have adopted a bunch of practices that
And they're different.
golf course, landscape, clubhouses, everybody has to adhere to.
I thought golf courses.
Puts out phosphorus during the summer and rain events and stuff like that. So
Yes.
there's a misconception that golf courses and landscapes just go out
No,
and dump stuff and
no, this is not the case.
right.
I hope you understand that. This is not the case. There are best management practices, and from my understanding, because I had students going out to the golf courses, and they said, no, we actually make our own best management practices. So this is new. I didn't know that Lee and Collier County had means to actually enforce best management practices for golf courses. But when I walk around here, I say it's perfect. But that was not so perfect for Pelican Landing. So from one coast to the other, it might be very, very different. So yes, what I saw is, and I told to Jack, well, you're doing some good thing here. I mean, I do have here and there where you have some, nutrient bleaching here and there, and we can fix that. But most of it, I saw this rain garden pretty much that you have created, and I was very amazed. Yes.
So you mentioned about a baseline. We've been collecting water on a monthly basis through Lake Watch.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that? You're actually part of the Lake Watch
The Lake Watch program?
program.
Yeah, it's been done on and off over a long period of time, so there are periods when the data has been supplied to the university and there are periods where the program was dropped, and I looked at some of the results some time ago, and there's still no baseline. You know what I mean, where we have a starting point.
It's a mosaic.
Yeah, so the data was a little difficult to appreciate, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, we have, you're saying Lake Watch from US or Pond Watch from the
US.
US, like Lake Watch with Mark Boyer. Yeah, working with Mike. Mark, yes?
Yes, you indicated that bacteria is good for the water, yet in the summer often here, we get the county that, closes the beach to swimming, which gives a lot of people concern, what's going on, and then they come back and they test it and they say it's okay to swim. So what's the balance? between-
You have different type of bacteria, like you have different type of algae. I showed you the good algae and the bad algae. So you're talking about E. coli or enterococci. So these are bad bacteria that can find and can make you sick. We're looking at here the bacteria that actually have not the pathogen bacteria. We're talking about the bacteria that actually have a key component in the nutrient cycle. So they basically will help you get rid of nutrient or compete with the algae for nutrient, for example. And these will not have an impact on human health.
Is there a way to prevent the formation of the bad bacteria?
Is there a way to prevent the good? So it's really the microbiologist. So.
Hi, my name is Toshio Arakawa. I'm also the faculty at FGCU. Then I'm originally from Japan, so I have a Japanese accent. I'm studying microbiology. I think that question is interesting. So actually, the county is monitoring like Dr. Serge Thomas told you. They are studying enteric bacteria, so they are pathogenic. So, for example, so if the water is contaminated by the enteric bacteria, if you drink it when you are swimming, so you'll have the tummy.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's why so they ban the swimming. But what Dr. Serge Thomas is showing, or I'm proposing the barcoding the microorganisms, they actually are the very good bacteria. They are everywhere, so your backyard or pond or everywhere. They actually they are clean up the environment. Like we prepare we use pesticide, herbicide, everything is degraded by bacteria. So they are essential component as well as the large mass bass in the Daphnia. It's the water thing. So that is what we propose is actually using this one as a kind of the easy biological indicators, so for the monitoring of the water quality. So that's my proposal.
Sure, a lot of our bad bacteria comes from wildlife. Anytime we get a flock of birds out there that bathe in the water, go to the bathroom in the water, it's going to spike our bad bacteria levels. So when they come out and they test, and they find like it's an E. coli or things like that, that's when we're forced to shut down, let the water purify itself, if you will, and then it can be back open. But anytime we get a flock of birds out there, especially in spring or summer, it's going to spike those levels.
What's the septic system? The tank system here?
No, they'll switch here.
Switch here. Okay.
I don't think a committee is on board with that. So yeah, this is the other thing. This year we also had a lot of problem because growing season, and we also have a lot of people moving to the area. The real snowbird, the bird, and the people snowbird with their dog, so all of that, with all the water we got, all that got flushed to the coast, and that's why some beaches have to be closed because of that. So we all have a footprint, you keep that in mind. We're just trying to minimize it, and there are best practices to minimize our effect to natural landscapes, whether they're coastal, ponds, or wetlands, terrestrial systems. Yes?
So with the ponds, not the big lakes, but the ponds, I think a lot of the ponds are basically lined with essentially just grass. That would not be the best situation, right?
No. Well, it depends what you call grass. If it's grass that is being maintained,
Yes.
meaning that it's being not only mowed but maintained with pesticide and fertilized, What's recommended is to have a buffer zone where you can grow grass, but basically whatever grows. You can select grass by just mowing often. The grass is a rural, and all rural need to be needs disturbance, meaning that the disturbance is mowing. So as long as you mow often, you will grow grass only. But you have a mosaic of different type of grass within that 10-foot buffer. And as long as you can cope with that, you'll be okay. So you can do either this, or you can grow a plant in grass. Right? So that's the thing. The problem is sometimes when you have the buffer, torpedo grass will get into the way, and then you have to treat it. But generally, if you mow very, very often, you make sure the grass clipping goes on the opposite side of the bank, meaning on the lawn and not in the water. You can pretty much have a buffer zone that looks like there's a grass that you guys like, and I can have my little 30-foot buffer of the grass out, when that just grows. For me, for example, for my property, I have 3 acres. I just put initially Baja grass, Argentine Baja grass that does deep rooting, and then just mow often. So that's my practice. And pretty much I have all the grass coming into the way, but I don't have any problem with it. It's self-sustaining. The Baja grass is not as appealing again. It's all about aesthetic. And aesthetic is, aesthetic. Some people like things and some people don't. That's what I like.
You mentioned bullet grass. What about different types, like bulrush?
That's
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, bulrush can grow very, very tall. Spikerush is much smaller. Bulrush goes very, very tall. So people don't generally like bulrush because they obstruct the view. So spikerush is favored. Sometimes spikerush can be very invasive, especially if you have shallow gardens. So you would grow spikerush will grow in about up to here. So if you go to our workshop, we actually have the master gardening telling you which plants you can plant depending on the water depth, and you have several options. So we offer that. We have actually a brochure that's on the website. You can download it. Select the grass you want. From the top of the edge down to the water. Okay. Yeah. So we have that. I think there are ways to find very good compromises. And I mean, here I've seen golf courses with perfectly good water lake. As far as I could see, it was nowhere like Pelican Landing where the water was really green with all this green algae floating. I didn't see that. I saw a little bit here and there, but it was
You'll see some courses where they'll have the grass growing down to the bottom. You'll see other courses where they'll actually have a quarry all the way around it. What's the better option?
Well, the better option is just use it's just common sense. If you have the grass really reaching the end of the water, and the grass is fertilized, you're going to have nutrient leaching in it. So you're going to get your buffer zones, or you're going to grow something else. And the best line of defense, and I think they quoted me on the show on NBC too, the line of defense is to have your non-fertilized grass or plants around the edge and around the pump. 30-foot buffer, and then if you have a lot of planting, it's perfect. Your plants will be healthy. Right? And test your soil, especially on golf courses. If you have already all the nutrients, it helps you dose how much you need. You have actually a recommendation that tells you what should be for different type of grass and growing, what is allowed. If you're lagging, add a little bit. And don't do also one spot. All of this land are artificial. And the dirt that was used is different. And I've seen that, especially on one on the East Coast, where depending on where the dump truck was dumping the dirt, we had hot spots of nutrients, sometimes, so it's a mosaic. So we had to do more and make a map pretty much say, well, here you're good, here you're not so good. It's very, very changing. It's not homogeneous at all.
Yeah, I've got to go. I want to say, stand person, thanks. Hey, Judge, I have a few questions that I'll just email you.
Yes, and you can email me. I got my card here. I'll be welcome to pick up my card at the end.
One question, you talked about the bottom up and top down. One of the top downs that they're considering here are the grass carp. And is
It's
that?
not a top down. Well, okay, so the grass carp is a way to control your vegetation, not the algae. They eat the algae only in last resort.
Okay,
Grass carp are like us, they will eat whatever they like. And sometimes they will eat the stuff that you don't want them to eat. So they will eat the most palatable and the most nutritious first. When you stock with grass carp, you don't want to stock with too much. It's better to go with increment rather than just stock with a lot. You can talk to Mira Marlex about it.
Yeah.
Because they stock too much and the lake turned turbid because they eat everything and there was no more plant to maintain the sediment, so you had your suspension and nutrient coming with it and the algae bloom. So grass carp are not bad at all. They actually are very efficient in controlling your submerged aquatic vegetation. When you have too much of it, it's an alternative actually to use dyes. When it's not too shallow. When it's way too shallow, you get when it's too shallow, you get a use grass carp. And they will eat whatever is there. You also have to take into account that they live right along up to 25 years. And it can be very
they get
big.
huge, don't they?
They can be very big. Now, there are several systems that are being in place. At the Florida Lake Management Society, it was a company that actually had a time-released medicine that they inoculate in the grass carp before they release it. And at a certain point, so it's like a slowly dissolving capsule that they put inside the flesh of the carp itself. And over time, that thing gets dissolved and release a poison that will kill the carp at the right time. And the reason we're doing that is because when they get too big, they're actually no longer efficient at eating plants. It's like, us when we were young, we eat a lot, and when we slow down, we get older. So the bigger carp are not as good as keeping your vegetation down as the youngest carp. And that's also a way to make sure that, let's say you overstock, that that 5-6 years down the road, they'll be dead anyways. You don't have to massively remove them like we're doing in Lake Miramar, where we have fishing club, we're spear fishing them, we're baiting them into nets. And you're going to be extremely careful. These guys jump, they can knock you off. I mean, they're really, and you've seen videos, where people go on boats and you see them jumping. Yes, they jump like crazy. So, and they can be very big and they can knock you off. They knock you in the head. And it's like a small tarpon about, 20, 30 pounds, knocking you off in the head. So they're very well controlling. They're triploid carp and they can't reproduce because they've been shocked to not reproduce. So you're safe here, although I think there is a 0.1% chance that some can reproduce. But here we only have a winter, so we need a good winter to reproduce. So I don't think it's happening in Florida, but it can happen in other part of the country, which you have seen. So not bad. I mean, they're a good way to control submerged aquatic vegetation, so that your lake doesn't turn like an Everglades-like system. But again, when you get very water quality is clear, you're growing the good algae and a ton of vegetation. And dye is one way, grass carp is another way, and planting on the shoreline to prevent the algae from growing. Some people are very happy with the flooding firefighting because they walk in the Everglades or they grew up here, they know it's happening. It's all about perceptions.
Is there some place where we can see what services you provide?
Oh no, I'm not really working like a company, but I can send you an example of proposal I have pitched out, and you can read them, and you can see the final report, so you can see these are very thorough reports compared to what a consulting company would give you. I have two different formats. I have the real technical report where I'm talking to peers, and that happened, for example, for Pelican Landing, when we had people in the business looking at it. And I have the one that's just color-coded, green, yellow, light, as simple as this. So I have these two different types of data.
How would I see that?
I can provide you with a link, and they're for your convenience to view at any time.
I think I've got your email address. So,
Yes, just email me and I got card, so goes social.
And one more thing is that actually, this kind of work will include a lot of FGCU students.
That's
so,
right.
So this is really good field work. So that is educational component. So please think about that one too.
When you see the list of all the students, that participated in the end. This is just 1 year, so they got some exposure. They find job because they have experience. Some of them work for wetland and lake management, lake masters. Some work for the district. Some work for Department of Environmental Protection. Some work for Lee County Water Resources. So they also provide them. And I think we're cheaper than anybody else because we pay them too. They get paid $8.50 an hour. It's not much, but better than working at McDonald's. They love something. They get worker compensation. We do a background check, so we're getting they do screening, drug and those ads. So yeah, that's all. That's a very important question. We're also doing something good for our educational system.
All right. Thank you, Dr. House.
Not a problem.